We've noticed a change in this, haven't we?
What's important, I think, for us to really look at is consumer behavior.
That's how we react as humans. We want it fast, we want it now.
And if you're still using the same marketing tactics, the same messaging, the same approach to that consumer from 10 years ago, you're missing out.
A consumer out there is thinking, there might be a better alternative.
We've found the institutions, we've brought them together in one place. And all of a sudden, you're instantly going in with 6, 7 offers, telling the person who wants to sell their house that I have 6, 7 offers right now.
Well, hi, Jason. This is, for right now, the Tim and Jason podcast.
As a Tim and Jason, we're here.
So, hey, we've got a really good product, a good venue today, but what we're going to talk about is consumer behavior when it comes time to buying products, right? And I think this is important to understand how consumers really behave out there as they are shopping for certain products. Amazon, you mentioned.
Entirely.
How we go through that process. How many people use Amazon, Jason?
The planet.
The planet, right? And we talked about that. We had a little discussion about that today.
I've even seen videos of cats using it.
Yes, I'm telling you, it's everywhere. In internet type shopping or Uber, just convenience, certainty, those kind of things. That's what Amazon surrounded itself with.
Mm-hmm. It is. And what's important, I think, for us to really look at is consumer behavior in the now. Right? The way consumers behaved 10 years ago is different than how they behave today.
Absolutely, yeah.
And if you're still using the same marketing tactics, the same messaging, the same approach to that consumer from 10 years ago, you're missing them. You're just noise to them anymore is what happens, because the consumer has evolved. The consumer has changed. They have different expectations, different desires. And we see that in Amazon, and I saw it accelerate with the pandemic. Right?
Yeah, good point.
When we see the pandemic happen, all of a sudden people who before were maybe a little more reluctant to DoorDash or to Uber Eats, right? All of a sudden it was like, well, I can't go out, so maybe I'll try it. Hey, this is pretty cool. So it accelerated the idea of what you touched on, convenience. And I believe convenience, certainty, and choice are the 3 things a consumer wants today in anything they're doing. If I'm buying a car, if I'm going to go buy a drink somewhere, if I'm needing to buy a new mattress, if I need to buy something as a gift for my wife, it's convenience, choice, and certainty are the things I'm ultimately looking for. And really that's what the consumer is in fact buying, is that when they make their choice of I'm going to spend to buy here versus there, is I'm buying the convenience, choice, and certainty that you offer me as opposed to where this other place does, even though it's the same product.
Absolutely agree. And so, and all that saying, what we're wrapping this up in is, how a home seller can now process to sell a home or buy a home.
That's right.
And that's the base of where we're coming at, because we've noticed a change in this, haven't we? And it was birthed right here. Seems
Phoenix.
like Phoenix, yes.
Yeah, seems like it does.
In our backyard. Everything bursts in Phoenix, and we watched this play out for a number of years. And watching it from a distance and watching it from the side and being close to it in real estate, but watching how diverse it was, like a push of a button, somebody could just actually sell a home, right?
If effectively, yes.
And
everything was taken care of with it. And that's that convenience that they're looking for. And I think really even still, again, it goes back to the pandemic. Before that, people were like, no, you have to see the house. You have to walk the house. You have to feel the house. It's just, you can't buy a house sight unseen. Yet, if we go back and we look at the pandemic, across the country, the number of homes that were sold sight unseen in terms of like walking through. They saw it because they had video. They saw it because there was virtual walkthroughs. They saw it through different eyes, but they weren't physically needing to be there because of what happened in the pandemic. That has then accelerated consumers' behavior, consumers' preferences, and it's deconstructed the paradigm that I have to do it the traditional way. And now the consumer does want something different. I find more often than not, it may not be the case in every market today. So if it's not happening in your market right now, it's coming, is that the consumer, the buyer or seller, agrees or accepts to work with an agent in the absence of a viable alternative.
Absolutely, and we see that play out. It's and like just go to the grocery store. I use this analogy, but have you ever watched it like when there's a line and it's backed up, and then a cashier comes off a break and they go over to the open cash register and they open up the line. It's all the people in the back. It's a race to get to the front of that new line, right? But that's how people. That's how we react as humans. We want it fast. We want it now. We don't want to have to wait. And I think over how Amazon has come into play, Uber, some of these companies, they've really fed that appetite in getting everything you want now and quick and easy.
Yep.
And home selling is really no different. We are seeing this, like I say, play out in our market and other markets with the message and with the certainty piece and the convenience that's all going along. My real estate coach said this about a year ago. He says, I see this business becoming where you push the button and that's it.
And that is where things are heading.
Yes.
Is it going to be there tomorrow or even next year? Maybe not even in 5 years, but that is actually the direction that things are going. Because could you buy a house and still retain a 10-day inspection period to come and look and verify everything after you've secured the house? Could you do that? Yes, you actually can do that right now.
Sure.
So it's just a matter of, does that in the future become the norm? I don't know. We'll see, but there's things already that exist that would allow somebody to, with the push of a button, buy the house and still validate or verify their purchase. And that's what cash buyers are doing.
Yes. Absolutely. Push of a button. And as we know, the institutional buyers, as the cash buyers, they just push a button and it's generally getting what this homeowner wants for the most part. That's, I think, the magic piece in this, right, is now how do we evolve in getting totally what that seller wants and needs from an offer standpoint, right? And that's the piece. I think you and I are very much on the tipping scale of how to figure that out.
Yeah, I believe so, because we've spent 3 years talking about it and
Yeah.
testing it and researching things on it. And what we are finding is that the consumer, you have your value proposition. And 10 years ago, that was the way to sell to the consumer, was with your value proposition. I'm the digital mayor. I'm the local expert. I have got all these sales. I know the process. I'm available to you. You can call me anytime, night or day. That was their answer to convenience. That was what we used to sell to. That's not what the consumer wants for. The consumer's not going on and Googling realtor who will answer their phone 24 hours a day.
But that's, as a realtor, we're realtors. That's what we think, right?
That is what we
it's
think.
Like, oh, I'm number one. Look at me, and you're going to pick me because I'm the best, and I drive the nicest car or whatever, live in the biggest home.
But that value proposition is not why they choose, why they start the conversation with you. Right. It's not that the value proposition isn't valuable. It's just not the thing to lead with anymore. You need a value proposition to secure, close the deal. But what you have to have for a consumer is you need to have an offer that meets them where they're at. What does that mean? It means if I want convenience, certainty, and
all the other good things it brings with it, speed.
Right.
Yeah.
Then that needs to be the offer. And what we are finding right now, a thing that resonates a lot with the consumer is a cash offer. Being able to get multiple cash offers, not just being able to get them, but being able to get them in seconds.
Yeah, in
and
seconds.
So when they're able to come and they can say, I can find out what somebody will offer for my house. It can be cash. So I don't have repairs. I don't have showings. I don't have any of that. That's a whole litany of convenience.
Lockbox sign hanging in the yard. Somebody kicked me out on a Sunday morning, 8 o'clock. Get out of the house.
Exactly.
Oh, I got kids, dishes in the sink. Beds not made, right? How many? And that's like sellers just cringe when they get that call or know that they're going to get it, right? It's
Completely.
like why they don't want to go through that kind of process.
Yeah. So when they look at the cash offer, they know that that's going to go away. So that's a possibility. Now the thing is, well, is it going to be enough? Right? There's in some places people believe that cash offers are only very low. Well, there's buyers that will offer a lower amount, and there's offers that will be close to fair market value, actually, based on how the funding source is structured. We have a handful of those, 3, 4, that want to be close to fair market value. And so they get the convenience. Then they have the certainty of it's cash that just feels better and what price it'll be. Oh, and now they can choose their time,
right? And
they can find out what that is in a matter of seconds. That is what the consumer wants. When you can offer that, the consumer says, "Show me more."
And so, as we're sitting here and we're talking about this, and as you may be a real estate agent listening to this podcast, wondering, man, where does that put me in this picture? It sort of.
Am I
you
being
think
replaced?
Like it might be replaced, it might be look bleak, but here's what we found: it's the exact opposite, and that's the interesting thing. So, comment on that and what your thought is with the real estate agent. How do they fit within this kind of setting with cash offers? They're getting what the seller's looking for.
What we find is that when iBuyers came on the scene, it was 2014, 15 here in Phoenix, and it was pandemonium. They were here to close out and destroy the real estate industry. And what we found is that no, there's a place for them, and that they want to be more friend than foe. They themselves have realized, we've had conversations with the executives at Open Door, that they recognize, no, we need to work with the agent to maximize our own investment. So the agent has a very, very vital place in everything. The problem for the consumer is they equate us as all being the same. They equate us as it being a hassle, antiquated way of doing it. And
They
so
sort of get that used cars
Yeah.
salesperson type. We sort of get that label on us, right?
Unfortunately,
And-
yes.
And in this setting, and that's not the case.
It's not the case. And so we can spend all our time telling them, you need me for all these reasons. But do you ever listen when somebody's telling you, you need this, you need this, you need this?
Right.
Eventually you're like, oh, just stop. And you dig your heels in. But if you can say, all right, I can offer you convenience and certainty. I can offer you the cash offers, because the iBuyers out there, they'll work with you as an agent. They want to work with you. But if your consumer goes without you, it's no different than going to a new home community. Then they're like, too bad. They came without you.
But the consumer has questions along the way.
They do.
They have certain things that they need to understand. This is a big process, right? So it's a home. It's not like, just going to a grocery store buying an item. It's their home they're dealing with. So they want somebody that has experience and knowledge, that has gone through this process, that they can lean into and ask these kind of questions. And that's where the agent comes in.
That is exactly.
And the agent doesn't get labeled as a bad guy in this, because they're giving everything to that seller exactly what they want and need.
At that point, the consumer starts saying, that's what I need, and I'm glad you're here, because now I need it. What I wanted was just something that was going to be a slam dunk, simple thing. Go to the iBuyer site, enter in my information, and get an offer and done. But like you said, what happens is you get that offer, and if you call them, that iBuyer, they're only going to talk to you about that offer. They're not talking to you about what your other options
And if
are.
even they'll pick up the phone, many of them don't even pick up the phone. So you get hardly nothing just to the offer, and then you got to go in their FAQs and read about it. Hopefully, what they pitch in the FAQs answers your question. But if it doesn't,
then what do you do?
Yeah, many times you can't get anybody.
Right.
So you're stuck on your own.
So
And that's where the uncertainty comes in.
So
on
so
that.
what did we do? What did we do in looking at this?
So-
and that being the situation, how did we look to solve it?
Great question. Actually doing it. So we got on, Jason, you and I, we learned it. We did it. We did it ourselves. We have businesses. So, and that's where we figured this out, was once you do it, and once you go through our education, our training, our materials, it does not take long to get onboarded with us and to understand all of this. And then from there, you can come, those same questions a seller has, you have the answers to.
Yeah.
And that's what we did, was we put the agent in control of helping that consumer, because we gave them all the knowledge and all the know-how of how all the offers are structured, and to get exactly what that homeowner is seeking and wanting.
More than anything, Tim, I think in what we've done, that's what I'm most proud of, is that we've created a platform where an agent can obtain multiple cash offers for their client or market and have consumers come and receive multiple cash offers, and they are the conduit. The agent stays at the front of the line. The agent
100%.
is no longer having to come in after the consumer has been to here, there, and everywhere else. They're coming in and they're leading them through it, because they can give them what they want. That convenience and certainty. Say, yeah, I got multiple cash offers. Don't just go and get one cash offer. Come to me. I can give you multiple cash offers. We'll have them done in seconds. Then we can talk about what your options actually are and what you really need and what's going to be your best situation, answering the questions like you said.
Yeah, and great point to that. We give that consumer the ability to shop different offers. Let them know that we are covering their basis with the offers out there, the most reputable institutions available, and that it's not anybody that's trying to steal the house, Fred in the back of a pickup truck giving an offer,
Right.
that kind of guy rolling up. It's reputable companies, and that's very key. It's like Amazon, right? When we go on Amazon, you look at the products that they have, and I want to go back to that example.
No, it's a great analogy.
And you look through that, and you're able to compare and shop, right? And that's what's beautiful about Amazon, and even specialty products and things like that.
There's more than one. So because honestly, a consumer goes through the sales cycle every 7 to 10 years, maybe.
Sure.
And so when they are coming into this market now, just like we said, the consumer from 10 years ago isn't the same as today. They're not the same person that bought 10 years ago as today. And they don't know how the market is. They know that the market's drastically changed since 10 years ago. Their house should be worth a whole lot more, but they don't know what to do. They don't know what's a good deal. And everyone wants a, quotation, good deal. And so when they're looking for that good deal, they'll have to go to multiple places. But in our platform, they come and they can see sometimes 12 or 18 different offers, and they're able to compare them right there, just like you do on Amazon. It's such a good point you're making there, Tim, that on Amazon, I search for something and there's multiple of that same thing or different brands of the same item, and I can compare them in terms of what exactly is their offering, in terms of their product, their features, their price, their time of delivery, everything. It's the same thing with what we've built in the platform.
100%. This is something I've never really touched on, but there's also another piece in this. I think that puts a seller at ease when they're going through this process. They're not dealing with, so you are representing, the agent is representing the seller on the transaction. You're there to help the seller. The buyer is self-represented, so the contract's placed through them. They're self-represented. The seller executes. They're not having to deal with another agent working against them in the transaction. It's very cut and clear that this is the offer, this is where it is, and this is how it's going to end up. And there's no, I guess, misunderstanding or
Where the
uncertainty.
representation is.
Yeah,
right?
the representation or the uncertainty, like, okay, is this other agent going to come in, and because I have paint peeling on the back patio and my pool decking is not great, and I got, rust on my chain link fence, or whatever that is, that they're going to rip the house apart and I'm going to get an offer of $20,000 less now. That all goes away in how this works. So it's a piece that gives them some assurances and some good feeling, like, I know that this is done.
I have some certainty that this is what is what will be.
What is being, and nothing's working against them from that, other than whatever the fees are disclosed out at the front, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it makes it very easy for them. So, anyways,
And in terms of the psychology of when we're thinking about our consumers, when we understand this, we've talked a lot about like kind of what it is. The next thing is, well, why is the consumer that way? Why is the consumer so looking for convenience and certainty and willing to give up? And that's one of the things I know that people have found with cash offers is that, well, they're going to leave all this money on the table. Well, yes, maybe, but also no, maybe not. What happens is it's a decision that the consumer makes, and it's their decision to make as to how much I will pay for convenience. People used to gripe and complain when you'd go to like Flickster on their app, Flickster on your phone to order it, and it would pop up and it's got the convenience fee, and it's like, I just bought 5 tickets in my case. I actually just did this the other day, bought 7 tickets for my family to go see a movie this coming weekend, and the service fee on that was as much as like 2 more tickets.
amazing. Yeah.
And I paid it. I was like, well, okay, well, I'm certain to get these seats. I'm certain to be at this time. I don't have to go to the place to do it.
And I don't have
I'll
to go to
pay
the
it.
box office, and I know it's done, and I can set my family together. We're not going to be busted up or anything like that.
I'll pay the $17 convenience fee that I don't have to pay anything if
Well,
I just walk over to the theater.
That's just a box of popcorn at the theater now.
Fair. Fair.
But in that, that's how we are. That's how we're wired as consumers and individuals. For that certainty, you will pay a little extra. Absolutely. Well, this is Jason. This is our first podcast. There's many more to come. We're going to break down many more things in the coming weeks and months and years, and we're excited that if you had an opportunity to listen to us today, that you're with us, and we have some great things coming. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Talking about the psychology of the consumer, which was a little bit of today. We're going to talk about marketing. We're going to talk about how you navigate difficult situations, how to find and prospect, and success stories. And we have a lot of stuff teed up that's going to just be really
Get more
content
buyers
driven.
and more sellers. And that's what this platform is about, getting more buyers and more sellers.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So anyways, hey, everybody, take care. Appreciate you being with us today. And any last final words?
Get out there and get it done. Onward.
Onward. All righty. Take care.